We're working a bigger bottle of clay on this video. This clay is raw clay that was dug down here in Madison County, Georgia. It comes out of the ground the color of charcoal. It comes out of the keel white. So that tells us that the elements that give it the black color are organic elements rather than metallic elements. If they was metallic, they wouldn't burn out and the clay would turn red. But instead, the clay comes out of the keel white, which tells us that the elements that give it the black color burn out in the keel, leave the clay white. So this clay was washed in my clay washing, through my clay washing machine that I've got outside, and you can see the video of me washing clay and the process that I use. So this clay was washed and loaded with vinegar and buttermilk to make the bacteria, to increase the bacteria presence in the clay, which makes the clay so much better on the wheel or with anything that you're going to do with it. So clay's aged about 8 or 10 months probably since it was washed, and it's in good shape to be used on the wheel. This is a 9.5 pound ball, which is not nearly as much as I used to be able to handle, but it's about all I can handle now, if I can even do that. It's been a while since I've even tried to turn a 9.5 pound bottle of clay, and we're going to try it. We'll have to be careful to keep it from getting away from us. So this clay is called Carey clay, and that's because it was dug on the property of a man that's last name was Carey, C-A-R-E-Y. If you have any of my pottery, you can look on the bottom, and it might be on the bottom it might be written Carey clay, C-A-R-E-Y, clay. If it is, then that means that you've got a piece made out of the same clay that's dug in Madison County on Mr. Carey's property, and it's been washed and loaded up with buttermilk and stuff to make the bacteria proliferate in there, and makes a lot better clay that way. So when it was dug, when it came out of the ground, it had rocks and roots and heavy grade sand in there and all of that. So everything's been washed out of the clay except the finer sands, some of the finer sand, which you want that in there. You don't want to take out all the sand. And so this clay still has fine sand in there, but the coarse sand has been washed out along with the rocks and the roots and all that stuff. So you come out with clay that's about as good as anything you could get commercially available from the ceramic supply stores. So we're going to chunk this bottle of clay on the wheel and try to turn a vessel out of it, and see what we can do with it. And then one of them sponges, the big ones there. So now comes the critical part, where we either make or break. Find out whether we're going to be able to do it or whether we're not going to be able to do it. So pour a little bit of water on the clay. I'm not used to using this size bottle of clay. I'm having trouble centering because I've got a problem with my left arm, and I can't brace my arm on the side of the wheel like I need to do because it irritates my arm. So I have to try to center the ball of clay without being braced. And that's one reason why I'm having trouble centering, is because I'm not braced, and I can't brace because it hurts my arm. So taking a little longer to center this ball of clay than it would have 10 years ago. Really puts a strain on the upper body. Time past, I have been able to turn 25 pounds of clay or more, which is over twice the amount that I have here. So we're getting the clay closer to the center, putting it on the axis. We've about as much centered it as well as we can, so we're going to start opening the ball of clay up and trying to hold the piece on center at the same time. So we're packing the bottom. Make sure they don't have any cracks in the bottom of the piece, hopefully. I like to run my thumb across the bottom about 3 times, and usually that's pretty well going to guarantee she won't have any cracks. Now we're going to do a push-up, left-handed push-up draw on this piece. As you can see, having a little trouble holding the piece on center. What we hope to be able to do is have the wobble worked out by the time that we get finished. Remains to be seen. Doing a right-handed palm draw. A little bit more of the wobble out. We'll do another right-handed palm draw. Now we're going to do a two-handed push-up. Now we're ready to do a knuckle draw. Need to narrow the top some in order to be able to choke the top in at the end of the process. Now we're going to use the chip. If you've watched the other videos, then you've seen the chip in use. In that one, this flat piece of stainless steel with a hole through the middle where the finger can go through, and leaves a smoother side on the piece than if you continued the knuckle draw process. The chip gives a smoother finish, a smoother side. There we have completed a draw with the chip, and we're going to have to be keeping up with the condition of the top. Now we're going to do another draw with the chip. Probably let that do it, because otherwise we'll have an unhappy accident. One final draw to improve the shape. You can see that we've still not eliminated the wobble, but whenever the wheel stops turning, then that'll take care of the wobble. Now we have to get the water out of the bottom of the piece. If we leave it in there, then the bottom will crack. Regardless of how good that the bottom was packed, it'll still crack. The water has to be got out of the bottom. We're going to try to put the finishing touch on the top, which is the last thing that's done. The last thing that you do is finish the top. Put it in as good a shape as possible. Actually, in this case, finishing the top is not going to be the last step. The last step is going to be to put a accentuation mark on the side of the pot with the chip, which is something that's traditional to the Gillsville area. The old potters done it back in the old days. So that is called an accentuation mark. So this piece is finished, 9.5 pound ball of clay, which is not all that big. And this piece will be available for sale probably on the table at some of our pottery shows this summer. And we'll try to mark this piece on the bottom to make sure that we know which piece it was. And so anybody that buys this piece of pottery will be able to say and know that they have that this piece of pottery is a famous piece of pottery, because it'll be on the web. The process of the making will be, the video will be on YouTube if everything goes as planned. So maybe you'll enjoy viewing this video, and we'll try to be on later with more videos. That's it.